Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Mama Genius Hub podcast. And I got Dr. LaToya Wiggins today. I'm so excited to have her here today because we're going to dive into what all us mamas need is some of that self-care and tender lovingness. And so I'm just going to introduce her real quick before we get started because she's got so much inspiration to give us today. But Dr. LaToya is the CEO of She Is Nourished. I love that. She's a wellness coach, self-care strategist for Christian moms, and transformational speaker. She transitions moms with young children from worn out to winning. I love that. So they are no longer feeling depleted, but develop necessary healthy habits to be nourished, renewed, and rejuvenated, because my cursor was there, with biblical principles and self-care strategies that bring peace instead of self-pity. Oh my gosh, I love that. She received her doctorate with physical therapy from the Mount Mary University in Arlington, Virginia in 2011. In 2018, she received her health and life coaching certifications from Health Coach Institute. She's a wife, mother of 3 sons, physical therapist, and health and wellness enthusiast. Dr. Wiggins enjoys dancing, comedy shows, me too, and traveling. Oh, we have so much in common. I'm so happy that you're here. And just before you know it, you are muted.
All right. Hey, everybody. Hey, Michelle. How are you?
So excited that you're here.
Yes.
So I just want to dive straight in and start with your why. What brought you to even wanting to do this?
Yes. So I am a very busy mom of 3. I have a 13-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 2-year-old. I'm married. I am a physical therapist and a self-care coach. I'm a motivational speaker. And even just saying all of that, I can go on with more titles, right? So I look at myself often as a busy mom. And any mom, if you're busy, which typically you are, right? Unless your
No.
kids are out of the nest, but I realized in all of that busyness, I had to look for some positivity in that. And that positivity comes from self care. When I'm not nourishing myself, I'm very stressed, I'm very overwhelmed. And there's this whole story behind that also. But over the years, I've discovered, well, through therapy, that I had depression and anxiety. So I feel like what I do is so important because I know I'm not the only mom going through these things or have gone through these things. And as a healthcare professional, I know the bad effects that happen when you're not nourishing yourself. There's so many health problems, mentally, physically, and emotionally, that occur when you're not taking great care of yourself. So, the healthcare professional in me is like, I want to help other moms be healthy. And then as a mom myself, who has gone through many different things, and I've figured a way to be healthy, to be happy, to get back on track when I fall off. I just want to help other moms do the same because I know it's possible. I've been them, I am them. And it just lights my heart on fire to see when moms are healthy, when they're happy, they are actually enjoying life, and not just thinking about, oh, who I used to be. This is who you are now, and what's the positivity in that? So I just love just bringing that, to other moms because this is my life, and I just want other moms to just know that yes, you are a mom, and this is a good thing, right? These are our blessings. So let's do what the best we can with our blessings.
I love that so much. And I love that you use the word nourish. And,
Mhm.
and that's all about how you do it. 'Cause when you look at that care, it's like actually nourishing yourself. And what made you choose that wording? Because I've just been trying to be so cautious with wording and really trying to reframe things for moms. And it is so important how we use our words.
Yes. So, I talk about self care and I still like to use that term, but I started saying nourish because a lot of people, when they hear self care, automatically they're thinking about getting their hair done and their nails done, the spa days, the bubble baths with a glass of wine, and those things they're great, but are they actually nourishing you? A lot of these things I just named, they're temporary fixes. And I feel like when you are nourished, this is ongoing. So doing those things are going to bring you enduring peace. Just not that temporary fix. If you think about it physically, how are you nourishing yourself? You're nourishing yourself with healthy foods, your water, movement to keep your body in good functional mobility, getting a lot of rest, as much as you can as a mom, even if you have a newborn or whatever stage you are as far as your kids. Making sure that you're doing stuff to nourish yourself physically. How are you nourishing yourself mentally? Are you taking time out to take breaks, to just relax and not maybe think about anything, How
Is
are
that
you
possible as a mom?
right, doing those things that actually bring you joy, bring you peace, and not even just alone time, doing things with your family that actually feel nourishing to yourself as well, not just doing these things with my kids because it's something they want to do or something I feel they need to do. What are you getting out of that also? So yes, how are we nourishing ourselves in every aspect of our lives? Again, mentally, physically, emotionally. I started talking about self-care for Christian moms because that was important for me as a Christian, my faith. So how am I nourishing myself spiritually? So, no matter what faith that, walk of life that you're in, how are you nourishing yourself spiritually as well? You have to be nourishing your soul, you know,
Yes.
so all parts of you. So that's why I started using the nourishment piece, because although I love the term self-care, a lot of people misuse it, so what are you doing that's actually going to nourish you? And that
So,
means if you nourish, you're healthy.
well, I love that so much because it just puts a new perspective in it, like just kind of like open the floodgates when you're like the word nourish. But so let's break that down a little bit. So we have a mom that's really stressed out, busy in that busy mode, just
Yeah.
can't get that mind frame out. Where should they actually start? What is the first thing these moms, any mom in this situation should do? I hate the word should. See, again, catching myself. What can we invite moms to try?
So I would say, for one, it is going to be different for every mom. But what I would say that it would be great for all moms to start with is just asking yourself, what do I need? And a lot of times it's as simple as that. What do I need? Because sometimes, as simple as that question is, sometimes we don't know. You're like, I don't know. I'm just drowning over here. So what is it? So you may need to just take a pause, whether that's by yourself or getting professional help. And look, that might be the start right there. But just bottom line, what is it that I need or that I think I may need to feel nourished? What is going to bring me peace and joy, so I'm not walking around feeling frazzled all the time, stressed out, overwhelmed, burnt out, right? What do I need? And just think about one simple thing. So I would say that's the main thing too. Just think about the number one thing. And even if it's day by day, maybe today you're listening to us and you're like, what is it I need? What do I need? I just want to take a nap. Well, maybe that's what you may need to do. Just take a nap. Sleep some stress off and then come back to it. Maybe like you're stressed out about your health. Maybe you've gained a ton of pounds, since you had all these kids and you're trying to get back to a healthy weight, or you're not eating well. Maybe you're not eating enough or you're eating too much, since you're so busy running around. Maybe you just know, okay, I need to get healthy. How can I do that? Maybe I need to start looking, meeting up with a nutrition coach or my physician, or hey, maybe I haven't even been to the doctors in a while. I'm too busy taking them to the doctors. Whatever it is, just ask yourself, what is that number one thing I feel like I need right now? Don't worry about all the million one things that you need to do. What is it that you need to do? And with that, just ask yourself, you know, I always like to say, what do I need to give myself permission to say yes to?
Ooh, yes.
Everything is, we're always about the kids, right? What do the kids need? What do the kids need? What do your spouse need, or whoever, your own mom need? What do I need? Is it more rest? Is it more of movement? Is it a chat with my girlfriend who I haven't talked to in a long time? What is it that I need that will bring me some peace and joy?
I
And
like
it, I
I
can
just
do
have to
today. Go
pause
ahead.
at this moment just to
Mhm.
like reiterate that, because you brought up two really good points, is asking the question, what do I need to nourish myself? And again, that number one thing. And I love that you put that part about, I want to say right now that we're both giving you permission to take that. And sometimes we just need to hear the words, you are given permission. But
Yes.
yeah, also ask yourself, what am I giving myself permission to do? But sometimes you just need to hear that word, you have that permission. You deserve that. And I
Hmm.
just want to put that out there, that asking yourself that question, I'm just going to repeat it one more time because I think it's just so vital. What do I need to nourish myself right now? And again, we're looking for that number one thing that pops in your mind as you open up the curiosity inside of yourself and ask that question. And then you have permission to do it.
Yes. And look, and don't worry about, if you can do it right now, because sometimes we're automatically dismissing, canceling our ideas because it's like, oh, like I could really use a vacation, but while the kids are so young, or I may not be able to get a babysitter. No, what do you need? Let's just start with that. Because we're going to make a plan later, but just tell yourself what you need and then you'll find a way. Even if I know we'll get to that in a moment, but even if you need to reach out to a mom like myself or Michelle, we will help you figure out a plan. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not looking for perfection, but what are those small steps that we can start taking to do whatever it is that we said that we want to do? Vacation, look, I don't care if it is just a day trip, few hours. Maybe you are never away from your kids, so maybe that vacation is just 2 hours out of the house, hiding in the garage, something. I don't know, but we're going to figure it out, right? So don't even dismiss it. Just, this is what I want to do. Write it down. That's another thing too. Write it down so you will not forget. And put it somewhere where you won't forget. Put it on the mirror, the bathroom mirror.
I'm going to go one further and say write it down and then schedule it in your calendar.
There you go. Love it. That's it. Just somewhere where you're going to check it. I have to check my calendar. I have to look in the mirror, whatever.
Again, it comes back to creating those habits of attaching onto something that you're already doing. So if you're brushing your teeth and you're going to look at that Post-it to have that affirmation or whatever it is that you need, or that mantra, that it's right there where you're going to do it. Yeah. And so let's stop taking the decision out of it and putting these things into habit format, into what we're already doing. So decide, as I'm going to bed, am I going to write in my journal? Have the journal right there as something that you're going to do. If for me, it's not been working so well because I'm just too tired at night to do that. So then going back to doing it in the morning. And doing the gratitude. So figuring out, trying the different aspects of when it might work for you, and then going, that one just didn't work. And then releasing the pressure that I have to do it because it's just not working at that moment. Let me rethink it and work it. Or maybe it wasn't the thing I needed right now anymore. It was working for a while, and now I might need to move on to listening to something or a podcast I'm not plugging that at all. Or reading something, but we don't need to be stuck in one thing that we've been doing, and then it always has to be that way. That's what I've been working so hard in releasing right now, is especially with the holidays upon us, because we're recording this December 5th. Christmas is 20 days away, right? So in the midst of the holidays, I was trying to figure out, why do I feel so grumbly? And it was just trying to release some of the traditions that I don't want to do anymore. But then maybe some of my other family does. And so trying to figure out, why does that make me feel triggered? And then trying to release that and go, okay, what can I do to rectify that within myself and take part of that so that they see that. And so I've been working with that. And I'm sure some of you listening right now would be feeling the same way with the holidays. And again, for some reason, the holidays are very triggering.
Yes, for a lot of people.
And by the word trigger, I want you to define it for us, LaToya.
Triggers. I would say for me, a trigger is something, I don't know, I guess if you think about pulling a trigger, just something that just kind of, I don't know, hits you. And it's maybe I was okay. And then, I don't know, it could be maybe just thinking about something, or you see something, and next thing you know, you're just feeling kind of overwhelmed or stressed out in some kind of way, whether it's due to some kind of trauma or just something negative. A negative feeling of some sort comes up to me. It just hits you out of nowhere. That for me is triggering. So when you think about the holidays, if you have some issues around that, maybe it's certain family members that, you don't want to be around, or like you said, maybe if you're changing certain traditions, you're already anticipating that you're going to get some backlash, from those changes. So it's already I don't know. That's just what it feels to me. Like I don't have the Webster dictionary definition of it, but that's what I'm thinking of. It's just like just something, a feeling I don't want to feel.
No,
You know.
I totally agree with that. And I think one of the things to do is when we start to realize that is, that's why it's like, I don't want to just repeat what I've already said. That's why I want to get some other feedback on that. Because the more that we start talking about these and trying to identify what's in our body when that happens, when we notice that and notice that, then we can see the pattern of it and go, then all of a sudden ask, why am I feeling this way? And I think that's the huge part with the self-care is, and the nourishing is figuring out what is happening inside of me and again, leaving the judgment at the door, only bringing the curiosity of why, and then trying to do seeing where you want to go with it.
Right. That's true. Yeah, because with that, we can use that example of the family stuff. Maybe you're anticipating like, I don't want to be around Aunt so and so. She's going to be talking about blah 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 blah. I really don't want to hear it. So, as a mom, you may even be thinking, as a mom or just individual period, it's like, okay, it can go back to that tradition. Do I even want to attend this dinner with everybody? And have no guilt if you don't. You don't have to keep doing those same things. Like you said, you can start a new tradition. Like, hey, you know what? My family and I, we're just going to chill at home this year. We're going to go on a vacation for the holidays, whatever it is. And at the same time, you really don't owe anybody an explanation either, but it's just one of those things. Am I going to attend? And if I do attend, how are you is thinking about these things ahead of time? How am I going to approach a situation or this question when it comes up? So you're already preparing yourself to be positive. Like, I'm not going to let this person disturb my peace. So it's really thinking about what am I going to do about this? Am I going to not avoid it in a bad way, but just bottom line, sometimes we just don't have to keep doing those things because we feel like we should, as you said, as we should. I'm thinking I should do this because this is what I've always done, or I may disappoint somebody if I don't attend these different parties or whatever. Hey, you got to do what's best for you and your family. And that's when it comes back to being a mom. It's about my family and myself. What is the best for us?
Right. And it's funny that you said disturb my peace, because I was going to lead into the question. Tell us about your peace framework.
Yes. So the peace framework kind of sums up some of these things that we talked about. So my peace framework, it teaches moms how to figure out what they need to do for self-care, how to begin saying yes to themselves, just to whatever it is that they want to do, what's going to bring them that peace, that joy, create harmony in their life. So with the P in peace, that stands for permission to say yes to yourself. So, we just talked about that. I told you that's the number one thing. If anything, start with that. What is it I want to give myself permission to say yes to? And just know when you start saying yes to yourself and those things that you want to do, that may mean not may mean, it's going to mean you're going to start having to say no to some things that no longer serve you. So back to those family traditions, or the way we grew up, or maybe the things we perceive, whether it's on social media or what another mom is doing. We have to dismiss those things because they're not serving us. If they were serving us, we wouldn't feel so overwhelmed and stressed.
You're making me think of the idea from Gwendolyn Doyle about saying not disappointing yourself. Like your number one job is to make sure you don't disappoint yourself. If that means disappointing others, that's okay. And I think believe she was talking to her daughter, and daughter's like, well, what does that mean, Mom, if I disappoint you? Like, your number one job is to disappoint me to make sure you're not disappointing yourself. We need to take that. Like, we give our kids permission to do that, but not necessarily ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you're saying yes and no to yourself. So maybe you're saying no to these unhealthy habits that you have. So bottom line, say yes to whatever is going to nourish you. It's going to bring you peace, joy, some happiness in your life, fulfillment. Make sure you're walking in your purpose as not only a mom, but as your own individual person. Because you're not going to always have these kids living in the house with you, or, unless you want to, but they're going to grow up and be off on their own. And who are you going to be without them? Yes, we are moms. It's part of our identity, but it's not our identity. So what are you going to do to make sure that you show up as the best person you can in every area of life? And that does include being a mom. So what can I do That's going to allow me to show up better in motherhood, to be more joyful when my kids want to play instead of feeling grumpy or irritated, or as soon as they spill something, I'm bouncing off the wall, screaming and hollering, feeling irritated. I don't want to feel that way. So I know that I need to say no to my child if they want to say, maybe right now they want to play and I need to rest. It's okay to say no or not yet. I like to tell moms that too, because sometimes no sounds bad. Not yet. It's okay. Rather, that means later, tomorrow, this weekend, whenever. And that goes towards anybody else too, your friend. Yes, I haven't seen you in a long time, but I'm really tired. I need to rest. Another day. So no isn't always permanent. It could just be a not yet. But just give yourself permission to start saying yes to those things that, again, is going to bring you peace and joy. It will allow you to show up as a better mom, a better wife, a better friend, a CEO, business owner, whatever it is. And other people will recognize that. So that's why I would say self-care is not selfish. It's essential. So then when you move on to the E in the peace framework, you're going to evaluate, I like to say, evaluate your current mom manual. And I'm not saying you actually have a manual, a physical copy, but let's just think about what's going on up here in our brains. What's going well and what is not going well. I like to say what's going well because there may be some things that we do that as well, and we want to continue to do them. Or maybe we need to do more of them. So, okay, I notice when I get a chance to read, it feels good. Maybe I want to start doing that a little bit more often. Or when I'm journaling, it takes a lot of weight. I feel like I'm, dumping all the stress off of my brain. Maybe I need to do that more often. Just think about what you know already works. Or maybe it's something that you stopped doing because you got so busy with life. Maybe I need to start going back to Zumba or whatever it is that makes me feel good. And then, of course, what's not going well, because we know we need to stop doing that, period. So maybe you're staying up Netflix binging all throughout the night because that was the only time you thought you could get, to have by yourself. But then you're waking up grumpy the next day and tired. So maybe that's not the right thing to do. Maybe you do need to start getting in the gym more, getting an accountability partner. For me, be like reading scripture, getting to the Bible more, networking with other moms or like-minded people, other wives, whoever it is, just doing those things that you would like to do. Maybe those are things you need to start doing now. So what's going well and what's not going well. So then we did PE, now A. A in the peace framework, you're going to want to assess what's the next step. So you figured out what you want to say yes to, what's going well, what's not going well. So what is it that I need to do? We're going to assess those areas for action and abundance. So I figured out that I'm stressed out all the time. I don't take any time out for myself. All right. So maybe I want to start nourishing myself mentally. And how does that look like? And one thing you said earlier, it reminded me, it was pretty much trial and error. You have to try things. So maybe what you thought was going to work isn't working. That's okay. Try something else. It's just going to be a trial and error thing till you figure out what really works best for you and your family, as a busy mom. So maybe, that you're eating like crap. You're not sleeping well. Okay, I need to start nourishing my body more. Maybe I need to start trying to get another hour of sleep, trying to move my body, even if it's just for 10 or 15 minutes. Drinking more water. Look, that's one of the things I'm always struggling with, my water. So, like getting a big old water bottle that's 64 ounces and trying to chug it throughout the day. Whatever it is, figure out what it is that you need to start nourishing yourself in, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It might be a little bit of everything, but well, I'm moving along, so I'll get to that part in a moment. So I'm going to put a pause on what I was about to say next. So C in the peace framework is you're going to cancel those feelings of guilt, cancel that mom guilt, the self-sabotage, and negative thoughts. A lot of times when we're thinking about doing these great things for ourselves, start to feel guilty, that mom guilt. Oh man, if I start going to the gym for 30 minutes or an hour, that's less time with my children, or that's less time with my spouse, or oh, I feel like I should be working on my business, or it's always going to be something you feel like you should be doing.
Should.
Right, should. So I always tell people the mom guilt is going to creep up. Those negative thoughts, they're going to pop up. Whenever they pop up, just pause and ask yourself your why. Why am I doing this? Who's going to benefit from this? Is it just me? No. Again, I already mentioned it. When you ask yourself why, I'm doing this so I can show up as a better mom, so I can be more joyful and happier, more bubbly and not faking it, right? Showing up as my authentic self, that will help you to move forward to do whatever goal it is that you want to do. You may still feel guilty, but you can dismiss it. All right, so I'm going to the gym. I'm going to the gym. I said I was going to take my break. I was going to take a 30-minute nap. I'm going to do it. And it's going to be a day by day thing that you're pushing yourself to do. It's not going to happen overnight, but just reminding yourself of your why, it will help you to dismiss those negative thoughts and that self sabotage, and also the negative thoughts from other people, because sometimes they get into your head. Why are you always exercising? Why are you always drinking those green smoothies?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I
Again,
feel that.
remind yourself of your why, and also recognize that they might need to do the same thing that you're doing.
Well,
Doing
I
some-
do want to point out with that though, sometimes it is that mirror where they see you doing and they have those shoulds in them or whatever it is, or you're the trigger for them at
Yeah.
that part, and to just release it. And sometimes what we need to do is when we're in those situations is make sure that we're reaching out to people who are similar mindset or things at the moment we're at. And that changes, that fluctuates, but it's always making sure that when you need that accountability or you're about to quit, that you're reaching out to the person who's really going to support you in that, not the person who might be triggered by what you're doing. And again, that's where the trigger comes in, is we're mirrors for each other. Why are we being triggered by someone else? But then also that person is probably just triggered by what we're doing, and that's on them. It has nothing to even do with us, but we take that on, and that it's something we're doing.
Exactly. And that's why I said that's a them problem. They probably should be doing the same thing that you're doing. Not saying the exact same thing you're doing, but finding things to do that nourish themselves. Maybe they're looking at you like, oh, she's looking good. She's losing weight, looking snatched. Okay, if you want to do the same thing, hey, let's do it together. Or, again, they just had their own internal issues that they may need some healing from. So you cannot let other people bother you. Again, remind yourself of your why and keep on moving. Again, about you and your family first, right? And making sure you're walking in the purpose that God called you to be. And then what you just said, that leads us to the last letter in the peace framework. The last E is to execute your new self-care mom manual or new self-care routines. And when you're executing these goals, in order to stay consistent, community is a big piece. So, like you said, surrounding yourself with like-minded people. So, for example, maybe you want to start exercising more, eating better. For me, for example, my husband has the same goal right now, but I keep telling him, I said, you are not a good accountability partner right now, because you're still eating the junk right now too. So surround yourself with somebody else who is either already working on that goal or they're serious. And then in this day and age, it doesn't even have to be somebody in person. You can connect with other people virtually. There's so many Facebook groups or, just different virtual groups where you can log on to a Zoom and be with other people working on similar goals as you. So whether it's working out, eating healthy, like a book club, you said you wanted to read more, working on your business. That's how we connected. Actually, we connected two different ways, through a mom group talking about time management, and we had the same coach for business too. So surrounding yourself with other people who are working on similar goals that as you are, whether they're a few steps ahead or right there with you. Just make sure you're surrounding yourself with other people and not feeling bad when you ask your best friend to, hey, can we walk around the track? And then she's standing you up. Well, it wasn't a priority for her. So connect yourself with other people who are doing the similar things. And then again, connect with the experts. So what is it that you want to do to nourish yourself? So if you have some healing that you need to do, you need to, maybe manage some depression and anxiety, or you were like me and you didn't even know what was going on, period. I thought I was depressed. I had no clue I suffered from anxiety. Well, I reached out to a therapist, and that's how I, uncovered that. So I still have a therapist. I have coaches of different reasons. I have coaches for time management, like we both have, for business, for speaking. Bottom line, pretty much, if I need help with something, I find a coach or a professional who can help me with those things. So I'm not about rushing things. You have to go at a good, healthy pace, But yes, connect with those experts who can lead you and guide you, give you some accountability to achieve your goals faster instead of trying to figure out things on your own. A lot of times when you're trying to figure things out on your own, you may mess up, get discouraged, and then you give up. So connect with those experts. And it was one other thing. Oh, the last thing I would say is just to start small. Like I said, start small with whatever that one thing is, rather just the number one thing you need to do. If you have several goals, just think about what's the most important thing right now in this season of my life. Maybe I want to do another goal, but that can wait a little bit longer. This is what I need to do immediately to start moving me forward. And that's the whole point. You start small, and then that gives you that grace too to kind of figure things out,
Yeah.
and then once you get used to something, maybe it's eating healthy. Okay, I don't eat healthy at all. I'm going to start with one healthy meal a day, or eating healthy 3 times a week, whatever it is. You get consistent with that, and then you add on. Working out. Okay, I'm going to start with 10 minutes. All right, I got consistent with that. I'm going to add on maybe 5 more minutes. And you keep adding on 5 or 10 minutes, whatever it is. And then you see you're constantly making progress and you are reaching your goals and achieving your goals. So don't be afraid to start small and make those goals measurable, because you got to be
Well,
able
no,
to.
it's actually, I agree. It's not to be afraid to start small. It's better to start small and
Yeah.
habit stack it, because when we have these lofty goals, I'm going to go to the gym for an hour and a half, and you go one day and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sore. I'm never doing this again.
Yeah.
Again, the gym is always that one that comes up, but it's any of
Uh-huh.
those things. It's like, I'm going to sit down and write for an hour, and an hour seems like, and like, if I can't carve out an hour of my day, which is so hard with the kids around and stuff, it's finding what can I do in 10 to 15 minute pockets,
Yeah.
and breaking it down. That really comes to be. But what I want to do before we go into our 5 questions for the end of the podcast, I'd love for you just to summarize and break down the peace framework just in one little snippet for everyone.
Yeah. So the peace framework, all about creating your own self-care mommy manual. So P, you're giving yourself permission to say yes to yourself. E, you're going to evaluate your current mom manual, your current, self-care routines. A, you're going to assess those areas for action and abundance. C, you're going to cancel feelings of mom guilt, negative thoughts, and self-sabotage. And the last E, you're going to execute. You're going to now execute your new winning mommy self-care manual.
I love that so much. And so we're running out of time, so we're going to dive straight into our 5 questions. And like, number 1 for you is share your favorite book or resource that has had a significant impact on your journey as a mama.
Yeah, so I would say it's a combination of 2. So I think this is the first book I read that was specific to moms and self-care. It was called The Mommy Reboot, The Busy Mom's Guide to Self-Care, and that's by Jodi Agard. And I used a lot of what she talks about in the things that I teach other moms on how to create that time for yourself, no matter what, as a busy mom. And then our coach, Kara Harvey, has the 15-minute formula. And I feel like that has been very helpful in just breaking things down to make sure you are achieving your goals, making sure that you're finding those pockets of time, even if it's as little as 5 minutes or 15, to make sure that you are achieving your goals. So those are really 2 good resources that have been helpful for me.
I love that we both kind of use the 15-minute idea, because it is really about how do we integrate these ideas into what we're doing every day versus I have to carve out a whole full hour to get anything done. Yeah. And we don't have to. If we break down that in separate parts, we can do so much in 10 minutes versus nothing at all to move us forward, as long as we're moving forward. And so number 2, what is a special family tradition or ritual that brings you so much joy and connection to your household?
Definitely the Christmas time. So we always have Christmas dinner at my mom's house. So that just brings back the usual traditions from childhood. And I just love that now my children get to experience that too. So my mom she cooks a whole big dinner, delicious foods, and then we exchange gifts. So that's always a really fun time that I look forward to every year.
I love that. Number 3, which actually I think we've touched quite a bit on already, but we've used the word busy mamas a lot about this. So my goal, even though I'm calling you all out as busy mamas, because that's how we define ourselves, I want to redefine that along with the question is, how are you? Some people are and we answer a lot of times, I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. I even caught myself yesterday, just all of a sudden saying, how are you? And I'm like, what are some other ways to break this habit
Right.
We're redefining it. So some people have been saying rewording the question, some have rewording things of saying, instead of saying I'm busy. I just want to work on redefining that for everybody.
I would say, and it's funny because I thought about that recently because my freebie that I have is called the Busy Christian Mom Self-Care Workbook. And I recently changed the name of it, even though it's still on the website, but I did change it because I'm like, I want to get away from using this word busy. It's just kind of, I don't know, a little negative, you know? So I would say, just what does that mean to you? That's what I would ask somebody, like, what does that mean to you? And use something more positive. So, okay, I'm a busy mom, but what does that mean? I'm loving on these babies that I have. I am enjoying life as a mom. So just saying something more positive, like just think about what does that mean to me? Like, why am I busy? Because I have these children, and what are you doing with your children? I'm loving them. I'm taking care of them. I'm enjoying watching them grow. Even if it's work, I'm enjoying my business and seeing it grow and being able to help multiple people with their health and wellness. So that's what I would say. Just think about why are you busy? What does busy mean to you? And then just spin it around to use more positive words.
I love
So
that.
it doesn't sound like you're just stressed out all the time.
I feel like this question's forcing me that's why I probably bring in what you need to this. And like that one is just, I still find myself just every day, like, how are you? Like, that it's so habitual that like, it's really causing a constant mind shift on that. And so I want to bring that awareness to everyone, which leads us into number 4. Describe what genius means to you and how do you feel when you're living in your genius zone?
For me, being a genius is working smarter and not harder. And when I'm not working harder, but working smarter, I'm working from a place of peace, joy. There's harmony, a good rhythm, a good flow of everything in my life. So that's what genius means to me. I'm working smarter and harder. I mean,
You just say
smarter
flow again. I love the way you said that. Just like
that's being a genius to me.
Which leads us into number 5 is how do you encourage that for your kids to explore new skills and to be in their passions and live in their genius?
Yeah, so for one, ask questions, especially like with my oldest son. I feel like I really have to ask, because like he just loves to play video games all the time. So over the years, it's kind of like, well, what do you like to do? And sometimes it would be like, I don't know. I like to play video games with my friends. So for example, he's about to go to high school. We're trying to figure out like what he should major in. So it's like, well, start like kind of like just asking questions. We will go through different majors at different schools. Do you like this, like this? And it's like, oh, no, no, no. And then like you say anything regarding computers, and it's like, yeah, I think I like that. I like to explore that. Okay, well, let's explore it. So hey, maybe you truly like video games because this is what you like to do. Anything with technology. So just really asking questions, and then even when he was a little younger, he wasn't really into sports, but then sometimes it was certain things that he did, like, oh, I think I want to try basketball. Okay, well, let's try it. So asking and then trying, encouraging that. And with my middle son, he loves to draw. I don't even really have to ask him. Even though I do ask him, I can already see the answers. So he loves to draw. He likes anything creative. So again, just putting him, either doing activities at home with him or exploring what else is out there in the community that I can, get him involved in to, again, tap into that genius, awaken what is already there.
I love that so much. Well, thank you so much. I just would like you to give everyone how they can get a hold of you and any final tips you have for everyone before we end today's podcast.
Yes, thank you for having me, Michelle, and other mamas out there. You can get in contact with me on all social media platforms at She Is a Nourished Mom. She's a Nourished Mom on Instagram, Facebook. My podcast is She's a Nourished Mom. I'm even on TikTok sometimes, YouTube channel. Everything is She's a Nourished Mom, including my website, www.she'sanourishedmom.com.
And any final takeaways for today for our moms out there?
The main thing I want you moms to do is, again, today, ask yourself, what do you need? And I'm just going to say today, not what you need tomorrow, what you need this weekend. What do you need today that will nourish you, that will bring you some peace and joy today? I'm not focused on no other day, but today, right now. What do I need today that's going to bring me some peace and joy today? And do it. Like she said, schedule it. Put an alarm if you need to. Okay, 5 minutes. I'm going to just take a break and just sit still. Whatever it is. Do it today, mama.
I think that's the perfect way to end, is just find your joy and in the moment of what you can do right now to do that, because we only have the moment anyways. And if we're worried about the future or the past, we're losing that anyways. So I love that. Just stay in the moment and ask yourself, what can I do to bring enjoyment to myself today? Peace, nourishment. And we'll see you all next time. Thank you for tuning in today.
Yes.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.